Hey, this is Richard Lion King reporting for duty, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you an experience of how simply chanting Nam-Myoho-Renge-Kyo can transform any form of karma that you have within this lifetime. Now, for those that don't know, Nam-Myoho-Renge-Kyo is a mantra recited within the context of Nichiren Buddhism, and the mantra itself means, I devote myself to the mystic law of cause and effect, which in essence means connecting yourself to the universe, and by chanting Nam-Myoho-Renge-Kyo, you are able to tap into your higher self, which holds the power of infinite wisdom, love, and compassion. Now, the experience that I will be sharing with you today is based on a passage shared by SGI President Daisaku Ikeda on transforming karma in this lifetime. Present effects are due to karmatic causes from the past. However, future effects arise from the causes we make in the present. It is always the present that counts. It is what we do in the present moment that decides our future. Our past causes do not govern our future as well. Nichiren Buddhism emphasizes that no matter what kind of karmatic causes we have made in the past, through the causes we make in the present, we can achieve a brilliant future. My mother, who passed away several years ago, is someone who during her lifetime had very heavy karma as it related to her children, and would oftentimes tell me that to her I represented a change in her karma. At first I did not understand what she meant when saying this to me, but many years later, after her passing, I was finally able to connect all the dots together. I am the youngest of 4 children, having 2 older sisters and 1 older brother. My older siblings were born years before my mother became a Buddhist practitioner, and I would often hear stories of how my older siblings were treated by my mother from their perspective, as well as hearing my mother's perspective on all the struggles she faced in attempting to take care of her children. To make a long story short, every single child that my mother had before me was in some way disowned by her after a certain amount of time, due to there being complications with the interactions on both sides for various reasons. I also remembered hearing from my mother that she suffered immensely when being together with my sister's father, who was said to physically abuse her and even went as far as to actively restrict her from being her true self. As a result, my mom was one day forced to leave him due to fear of her life, which also resulted in my older sisters being left behind as well. The result in my mother having a negative standing with my sister's father would ultimately play a role in the interaction my sisters would have with my mother throughout their lives. Buddhism teaches us that we are where we are in life due to the karma we create within our current and past reality. In other words, the circumstances of my mother and the circumstances of a rising conflict between herself and her children was all the result of karma that she had created before and during this lifetime. On a deep level, it's clear to me that all my mother's children were brought into her life to challenge and help her in doing her own human revolution, and to help her learn what it meant to become a true mother. One that was diligent in her efforts in parenting while providing unconditional love, affection, and understanding. And most importantly, one that never gives up no matter the struggle or circumstances. When reciting Nam-Myoho-Renge-Kyo, we are making a vow to the Gohonzon, and while she may not have told me this personally, I know from all the Buddhist books she owned, which were around 50, and all the points that she highlighted within each of these books, that my mother seriously embraced her Buddhist practice with her life. I even came across both her Gosho books, which are both volumes of the writings of Nichiren Daishonin, both with a combined total of more than 2,000 pages each. And notice my mother had highlighted words and paragraphs all throughout the entirety of both books, from the start all the way to the last page of each. Even without telling me, my mother's vow and effort to win against her own karma and fundamental darkness were made very clear, not just based on this and her own life, but every day I'm able to see a reflection of her efforts manifest with within my own life as my growth within the organization continues at an alarming rate. And my desire to put forth tremendous effort for Kosen Rufu has become the theme of my life. Her efforts of practice have been transferred over to her grandchildren, who were never exposed to Buddhism but were born into this life with the desire of wanting to practice, which has helped influence one of my sisters to want to practice as well. Which connects to what President Ikeda mentions when he states that the efforts we make within our practice not only create benefit in our lives, but that benefit is also transferred over to the descendants of the practitioner as well. Which is why it's important to know that all the efforts we each make for the sake of this Buddhism will have positive effects on our entire families long after we have passed away, which my mother has shown actual proof of. Through my efforts of studying Buddhism, I also realized that part of the role that I was meant to play in my mother's life was to challenge her in doing her human revolution when it comes to being a committed parent, especially when I became a teenager. But no matter the struggle I may have presented to her, I was able to observe my mother's determination in being completely grounded in her love and care for me. And I ended up being the only child to stay with her from the moment that I was born for 26 years until she passed away. Though things were rocky at the start, my mother was able to better connect with my older siblings, who in turn grew to revere and admire her both before and after her passing, and she would go on to influence their lives and their children in positive ways, even to this day, which also shows her human revolution and that it is possible to change one's karma within this lifetime. Now, the reason I decided to share this experience is because I know many people find themselves struggling with their children in various ways, but it's important to know from a Buddhist perspective, the children you have within your life and the struggles you face with raising and interacting with them is not without reason or purpose. The struggle you face with them are meant to spark a great change within you and ultimately help you to challenge and overcome some form of karma that you have manifested within your life. Which is why chanting and embracing a spirit of gratitude and asking yourself, what's good about this struggle I'm having with them, is what can help you begin to see the deeper meaning and role that your children play within your life, and how they are meant to help you become the best version of you that you can possibly be. In his book, The Human Revolution, President Ikeda mentions, unless you change your karma, your problems will follow you wherever you go. Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism, however, enables us to transform the place where we are now into a land of eternal tranquility, light, and there construct a place of happiness. To that end, you have to change that karma that makes you suffer from family discord. A grand palace of happiness exists within your heart, and faith is the key that opens the door to that palace. Therefore, you must not be defeated by your sufferings. Instead, live strongly and invincibly.